The last thing they take from you before you go under is your wedding ring. And the woman at the property desk puts it in a small manila envelope and writes a case number on it. And you watch your own marriage become evidence in a locker. You signed up for this. That's the part you'll come back to later on. The nights when you can't remember which name is yours, that nobody made you do it, that you raised your hand in a briefing room because you were good at becoming other people and because a younger version of you thought that was a gift instead of a wound. They give you a new wallet with a new man's cards in it. They give you a rented apartment in a city where you know no one under a name that didn't exist 6 weeks ago. And they give you a target, a crew that moves stolen freight up the coast, and a single instruction that sounds simple and is the most dangerous sentence anyone has ever handed you. Get close to them. To understand how a man goes under to catch criminals and comes back unable to find himself, you have to understand that the job is not pretending. Pretending is what amateurs do, and amateurs get killed. The job is becoming, and becoming leaves marks. Level 1, the volunteer. You are 34 and you are, by every measure the department uses, the best they have at this, which is a thing you were proud of, right up until it cost you everything. Deep cover is not a role you play, they explain in the briefing. It's a life you move into. And the ones who survive it are the ones who can make the new life real enough to fool men whose survival depends on spotting fakes. You have to eat, sleep, argue, laugh, and grieve as someone else for months, maybe years, with no script and no second takes and no partner beside you, because a partner would give you away. You go in alone. They tell you the statistics without meaning to warn you. The divorce rate for deep cover operators, the drinking, the ones who came out and couldn't be cops anymore and couldn't be anything else either. And you hear all of it the way a young man hears the odds as a thing that happens to people less capable than you. That is the exact arrogance the job feeds on. The men who wash out early are the ones who can't commit to the lie. The men who get destroyed are the ones who can, the naturals, the ones so good at becoming someone else that they forget the way back. And nobody tells you that the very talent that got you selected is the mechanism that will take you apart. Because the department needs men who can disappear into a role completely, and a man who can disappear completely is a man who can get lost. Your only tether to the world you came from is a phone number you can call from a payphone, and a handler named Weiss, who you'll meet in parking garages and diners 2 towns over and who reminds you every single time of the one rule that keeps undercovers alive and sane. Never forget who you actually are. You nod. You mean it. You have no idea yet how quietly a man can lose the thing he's certain he'll never lose. Level 2, the legend. They build you a legend, which is the term for a false life, constructed in enough detail to survive scrutiny. And your legend's name is Danny. Daniel on the license, but Danny. And you spend weeks living inside him before you ever approach the crew, learning his history until it's reflex, until you don't hesitate when a stranger asks where you grew up. You start showing up where they show up. A bar near the docks, slow, never eager because eager is what a cop is, and you let them come to you. And the man who comes to you is Marcus. Marcus runs a piece of the operation, mid-level, the one who moves the freight once it's off the boats. And he is not what you expected because you came in with a picture of these men as predators. And Marcus is warm, funny, the kind of man who remembers your drink and asks about your week and means it. He takes to you. He's the one who vouches for you to the men above him, who says this guy's all right, who shortens Danny to Danny Boy the second week and makes it stick. So that within a month, everyone in the crew calls you the name Marcus gave you. And you realize with a small, cold feeling that you have been named by the man you are here to destroy, and that you like him. And that the liking is not an act, and that this is exactly what makes you good at the job, and exactly what is going to ruin you. An undercover isn't a cop pretending to be a criminal. He's a man building real love in order to sell it. That's the trade nobody explains in the briefing room because if they explained it honestly, no one sane would raise their hand. To get inside a crew, you have to be genuinely likable, genuinely present, genuinely loyal. Seeming, and there is no such thing as seeming loyal without being a little loyal. No way to fake a friendship well enough to fool a suspicious man except by actually having it. The bond you build to betray is a real bond. You feel it in your chest when Marcus laughs at your jokes. Your body does not know it's undercover. Your body thinks it has a friend. Level 3, the immersion. Time under does something to a man that time anywhere else does not. Months pass and then more months and the operation is slow because good cases are slow and you cannot rush a crew this careful without becoming the thing that gets you made. So you wait. And waiting means living. And living as Danny means Danny's life accumulates the weight of a real one. You develop habits as Danny that aren't yours. A way of holding a cigarette you never smoked before. A laugh that's pitched slightly different from your own. Opinions about teams and music that started as cover and became, somewhere along the way, simply what you think now. You go to Marcus's place for dinner. You meet his wife who cooks too much and sends you home with containers. And you meet his kids who call you Uncle Danny. And you learn that the hardest lie to carry is not the big one about who you are, but the thousand small true feelings the big lie forces you to have. You are there when his mother goes into the hospital, and you sit in the waiting room at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because that is where you would be if the friendship were real. And the terrible thing, the thing you can't say to Weiss in the parking garage, is that in that waiting room, it was real. That you were not performing comfort. You were feeling it. And when Marcus put his head on your shoulder and cried, you did not think about the case for one single second. Meanwhile, your actual life happens without you. Your sister gets married and you are not there because Danny doesn't know your sister. And you see the photographs months later in a file Weiss isn't supposed to show you. Your family in a church, a gap where you should be standing. Your father has a health scare and you hear about it 8 days late in a diner from Weiss, who slides it across the table like just another piece of intelligence. And you have to keep your face, Danny's face, while something in you tears because a man in a diner reacting to news about a father he supposedly doesn't have is a man getting himself killed. You grieve your own life in secret in the wrong name, alone. And the cruelest arithmetic of all, the one you do at night and can never stop doing, is that you are more present for Marcus's mother than you were for your own father. That the false life is getting the real you, and the real life is getting the ghost. And you cannot fix it because fixing it means blowing 2 years of work and getting yourself killed in a warehouse. So you let your own life thin out to a rumor, while you pour yourself fully into the life you are being paid to destroy. Level 4, the blur. Here is the level nobody warns you about. The one that isn't in the manual because the men who write the manuals came back before it happened to them or didn't come back at all. Somewhere in the second year you stop being able to feel the seam. There was a line at the start, clean and bright, between you and Danny, between the cop doing a job and the man the job invented, and you could find it any time you needed to. Could touch it and know which side you stood on. The line thins.